Yo, what's up? This is Dann Cozey. Welcome back. Lorwyn Eclipsed dropped this year, the Magic the Gathering set. I was super excited to discover the artwork. I hadn't seen anything before its launch, so seeing the cards within the set was really, really cool. I was just like, wow, this is what, for me, this is what Magic the Gathering should feel and look like. There are just like some really cool tribal races. There's some kind of cool things where the things mix together. And yeah, there's some really cool game mechanics in there as well. I had thought that if I was to pick up the Auntie Ool PreCon, that it was going to... I thought it was going to be more tribal and that it was going to show off more of like the kind of bogart style. And I found that it had some pieces in there that I wasn't really okay with, like the Scorpion God and things like that. And a lot of Phyrexian stuff. I thought, I can see why they did it, and that it was very deliberate, that it showcases the mechanics of Blight and all that kind of stuff, which is something that I, as a mono black player originally, it's something that's very exciting for me and very fun to play. Pushed me to make my own deck rather than buy the PreCon, and it basically founded a whole design philosophy on decks that I've kind of been leaning into. I really love things feeling like they would stand side by side with Auntie Ool on the battlefield, or things that she could summon out of the swamp, spells that she would cast, that kind of thing, I really like to imagine that the deck is Auntie Ool as the person that is conjuring everything that's happening. Okay, so this is the Auntie Ool PreCon. We've got some artifacts here. I think I've got the Contagion Clasp in mind, Soul Ring, Scarecrow generating artifact, makes mana as well. We've got demons, Phyrexian demons, humans, elves. There's tree folk in here, a lot of scarecrows. And I think that you could change the commander to King No More, Reaper King No More, and it would still feel like a similar deck. The main issues for me, I think, were the elves, the humans, this elemental knight, massacre girl, things that feel like these are savage cards, and they have their place in certain decks. But for me, I was really hoping to get more Lorwyn out of the PreCon. I know that there's giants in Lorwyn, so it didn't shock me so much to see like a giant. I think they could have changed the artwork for this maybe. And also zombies are humans, right? Maybe? I'm not sure. But yeah, there's like fairy mischief in here. But yeah, Phyrexian zombies, the Scorpion God, like and then for enchantments, we've got a few bits like an elf generator, a few instants, bit of interaction there. The big no-no for me was the planeswalkers. I'm not 100% on planeswalkers in decks, but I mean, you can't argue that what Liliana does in this deck is great. Like put a 1/1 -1/1 counter on up to one creature, destroy a creature with a -1/-1 counter. Like this is really good stuff. And then the same with Vraska. I played against the PreCon last week, and in the same turn I had someone put 9 poison counters on me and proliferate, so that was like me completely gone within one turn. It's pretty savage. Like this deck, it's like designed to do one thing and do one thing very quickly. And yeah, that's the PreCon. And then this is what I put together. So I put a bit more faster mana in here with these talismans. I also put like a Wanderer's Twig, Cauldron of Souls. I'm not 100% on, well, we don't need to go crazy into this deck, but I just thought with the theme of Auntie Ool being like a witch, the Cauldron of Souls was pretty cool. I'm not sure if any of my creatures are ever going to not have -1/-1 counters on there, but it can bring them back and then draw you a card if they die. Ward of Bones, I think, was 100% for the theme, and I think it's from one of the Lorwyn sets. Yeah. And then I've got 31 creatures, and most of them are goblins. Most of them are goblins. I think all of them are goblins from Lorwyn. Then I've got this Necro Skidder because it was too good to not put in. It kind of replaces the Scarecrow dude. I know that the PreCon has both, but, you know, return a creature to your... that had a -1/-1 counter on it under your control. It's pretty cool. I love these little trolls. I feel like these are exactly the kind of thing that Auntie Ool would have hanging around, you know. And then there's a couple of snakes, just giant snakes that just feel like they would be in a swamp. This Quill Spike, pay 1, remove a -1/-1 counter from a creature you control. This is huge already. And it gets +3/+3 until the end of turn. For me, I was like, yeah, this is overpowered. And it just seems like a little pet that Auntie Ool would have, you know. What else we got here? Yeah, just loads of goblins. All doing different things, you know, but... Then we got the Boggart Auntie from... I'm not sure what set that is. I guess it's the original Lorwyn? Yeah. So it's not that she can bring back a goblin creature from the graveyard to your hand. It's a goblin card. And then I think that there are some cards in here that say, like this Tarfire, you can bring it back each turn. There was another one that was maybe a sorcery, or... Yeah, this Fodder Launch, you can bring it back each turn. The Warren Weirding, so splitting creatures in half. The instance, I'm not sure where Grim Affliction is from, but put a -1/-1 creature on a... -1/-1 counter on a creature and then proliferate is awesome. And then, you know, just a little bits of destruction there. The Unbury can bring back 1 creature or 2 creatures with matching type. I thought, yeah, if I lost both my snakes, right, I can bring them back because they got a matching type. Or the trolls are matching type. Obviously the goblins. And then there's 2 elementals there. This noxious hatchling is pretty savage. What I really wanted was like ways in which I could remove the blight as well as add blight. So having this elemental with the Quill Spike, I feel like can help push that forward. There are a few things I would change about this deck, but yeah, Lasting Tarfire is in the PreCon and Everlasting Torment, I think, as well. Crumbling Ashes, I'm not sure. At the beginning of your upkeep, destroy target creature with a -1/-1 counter on it. So, like, if you have this, you kind of don't want to lean too heavily in the self-blight. You know, whenever you blight on one of your creatures, you draw a card. Whenever you blight on one of your enemies, they lose 1 point of life. You kind of... want to make sure that they always have a creature with a -1/-1 if you put this into play. Yeah, the Nettlevine Blight is pretty expensive, but I find that it kind of goes with like the curse vibe. Enchant creature or land. Enchanted permanent has at the end of your turn sacrifice this permanent and attach Nettlevine Blight to a creature or land you control. I think it's pretty savage. If they run out of creatures and enchantments and stuff, like it starts attacking their lads, I mean, that might be a bit too ruthless. This recruiting hex, I don't like it so much, but you know, it's from Lorwyn Eclipsed, so it's kind of been staying in there for a while. And then there's just a bunch of lands. The main ones, I would say, Khan's Bastion, pay for proliferate. Proliferation in this is huge. Kessig Wolf Run, pay X plus red plus green. Target creature gets +X+0 until the end of turn and gains trample. This combined with the Quill Spike and, you know, pay 3, he gets +9. You know, pay 3, remove 3 -1/-1 counters. He gets +9/+9. And then you give him trample with this Kessig Wolf Run. Pretty cool. The Nesting Grounds is pay 1, move a counter from target permanent you control onto a second target permanent. This second target permanent doesn't have to be one that you control, so you can just be throwing Blight across the board once a turn. Is there another one? Oh yeah, the artifact at the beginning there. This Power Conduit. Remove a counter from a permanent you control. So you can remove a blight counter and then choose one, put a charge counter on target artifact, or put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So you can just take a -1/-1 off of one of your creatures and put a +1/+1, which I think is great because there's a few little things in the deck, not loads, but a few little things that kind of allow you to not blight yourself into the graveyard. You know, it's like the black and the red wants to burn through the blight and push forward, and the green kind of wants to make sure it's sustainable, or I'm not sure what the word is. The Exalted on this guy I love as well. If a creature attacks alone, they get +1/+1 until the end of turn. Remove 3 counters on this. It attacks alone with this. It's crazy. Can do big damage. I also recently added, and I haven't tried, the canopy cover. So enchanted creature can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. Enchanted creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. It's completely from a different set. Like, it's from way out there, but I feel like there's a snake in the image or something. Canopy cover, it feels like we're in the forest, in the swamp. I felt like it was a fine stretch to add. And yeah, I mean, the PreCon, it's got loads of good stuff, you know, and it's got stuff from Lorwyn, like the incremental blight I've got as well. And I also put incremental growth. I felt like Auntie Ool would play with both of these, you know. Another thing is that this Boggart Birthright, return target goblin card from your graveyard to your hand that costs 1, is a card that is also a goblin in a sense. So when we have like Boggart Auntie, she can bring back that card each turn. I put some like classic mono black card draw in there, and I picked the one that was like the most on theme, you know, Read the Bones. There's obviously like what's the other one? Silent Blood and Night's Whisper. And I went with this one, trying to keep the theme a little bit. But like I say, the PreCon has got some really solid bits in it. There's a lot of card draw in the sorceries. Cathartic Reunion. Night's Whisper, like I said before. And I kind of went with having more creatures. There's 27 here, I went with 31. But yeah, for me, like, humans was a big no-no. I felt like humans didn't have a place in the deck, really. And then, you know, I kind of see that, like, through the different planes of Lorwyn, or the different sets, like, there is, like, this interweaving of races mingling. Like, there's a lot of scarecrows in this deck. There's some tree folk, which is really cool, and it works really well with the mechanics. But I just kind of wanted to have goblins and then like beasts that felt like Auntie Ool's pets, you know? I've had so much fun kind of designing and customizing this deck. It's gone through many iterations, and the whole journey has been fun, you know? And I kind of have the PreCon to thank for that in a sense, because I didn't like it in the beginning, so I just went and made my own. And yeah, this video has been like really good fun for me to make. I hope you've had fun hanging out. If you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to read your comments and see, you know, like what kind of deck building journeys you guys have been on as well. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Peace.